Aquarius. Welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. So we're talking about May. Crazy, I know. I hope that April has been and is treating you well. I know that I know I've said this a million times, I'm not an astrologer, but I know that there's kind of a lot going on. My ass is thoroughly kicked, so if yours is also, then I'm sending you a ton of good vibes, love, and patience. So we're going to be working with a different spread this month. We'll kind of see how it goes. It's definitely like larger, so it's a matter of like kind of fitting it all into frame. I love this spread though. I hope you do too. Of course, let me know in the comments if you have an opinion about it. The nice thing is that this is a pocket size is what they call it. So the cards are a little bit smaller. This is a size of like a regular card. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You know me. I like to try things on, see how they fit, see how it goes. So what's going to happen is I'm going to shuffle the deck 3 times one way, 3 times another way, split the deck, and then I'm going to take the top 9 cards off of the deck. 3 is just my number. If you have a number, you know what I mean. If you do have a number, drop it in the comments. Because if you know, you know. So we are just looking for a message for Aquarius for May 2022. What is the message for Aquarius? Message for Aquarius. I shuffle the deck a million times between readings also. That's interesting. So, just know that, the cards are thoroughly shuffled. So, beautiful. We have the Magician. I'm just going to get all the cards out and then I'm going to resituate. The Taurus in me has to have it look aesthetically pleasing at some point. The Strength card, 4 of Pentacles, the World. Wow. Oh, my Lanta. Look, I feel like the last few months, gosh, you have just been showing out in your own readings, and I am absolutely here for it. Look at all these major arcana cards. Big stuff going on. I know I wasn't saying it, but we have the Star, Ace of Swords, 5 of Pentacles, Judgment, 2 of Cups. Hold on. Okay. Everything was actually straight. That's also a first for these readings. This is amazing. Clearly things that, there's clearly things that you are working through, limitations, maybe kind of self-imposed blocks, maybe self-imposed or not. It definitely could be something outside of yourself. There's not necessarily a rhyme or reason to this. It's kind of like bingo for me. We're going to talk about each row. We're going to talk about each column. There's kind of a beginning, middle, end energy. My intention is just to kind of bring you all of the messages that are coming to me. And of course I love just kind of explaining the energy of each card, because I also think that, obviously it's dependent on your situation. And, there could be a message that would be coming to you just based on your understanding of the card. So beautiful. And like I said, I love that the Star is right in the middle. I feel like it was the April reading where both of the Star cards in that deck came out. And I also feel like the Star card came out, was it in the mid-month? I can't remember. But I think that is so cool when that happens. And especially just because it is a pattern that clearly I've just kind of recognized over the last little while. Beautiful. So we start with a Magician. And the Magician is the card that comes right after the Fool card, right? So this is actually putting energy into manifesting into existence. You know, this is, you know, calling on the elements that you have available to you to sorry, there's a little bug. Maybe you're distracted. I don't know. Maybe there's something outside of you that's distracting. But, you know, it's calling on the elements that you have available to you. And you do have all the elements available here in order to, again, you know, like kind of manifest something into existence. You know, the Fool talks about that leap, you know, stepping into the unknown. And the Magician is when you start figuring shit out. Like, oh shit, here I am. I just took this leap. Now what? Right? Like, now what do I do? And this is figuring it out. Or at least, obviously, you know, it's a 1. So it's at least the beginning stages of figuring it out. It could even be just, you know, kind of plotting and planning for what's to come. As much as you can, obviously, right? And then we have the Strength card. I believe is a Magician fire, I want to say. I could be wrong. Could be, no, it's air, Mercury. That makes sense, because now I'm thinking it might be Gemini. Well, yeah, it would be Gemini, right? It's Mercury, hello? Sorry. So, Strength next to that, that's the card of Leo. Also, I mean, this is air, right? So, I mean, it is very much your energy too. But, so then we have Strength next to it. And, you know, I mean, Strength, this kind of talks about like resilience and determination. There's also this ease, like with this card specifically, there is this ease that comes along with it because, you know, there's this tornado back here that she's just kind of nonchalantly focusing some magic to, and then she's got a lion licking out of the palm of her hand. You know, it's almost, it has this feeling of, you know, when magicians do that misdirection thing, like that's kind of the energy that this feels like. Maybe you are trying to not misdirect in a bad way either, but like maybe you are, there's a couple different things that are going on, like you're trying to maybe appear to seem at ease, but you know, really you have total control of this tornado back here. This could even be, you know, kind of keeping chaos at a distance. You know, maybe even kind of staying very grounded if things are feeling a bit chaotic. You know, I mean, maybe you are, again, like trying to kind of, you know, like keep your feet on the ground in the midst of this chaos, which would take a lot of strength. There's a lot of bravery that comes with the Strength card also. You know, I mean, it's brave to be standing next to this lion, you know. It's brave to be out here, even in the vicinity of a tornado. So this could even be, you know, some sort of even putting yourself out there to a certain degree. And then the Four of Pentacles next to it. The Four of Pentacles talks about kind of holding on a bit too tight. And a bit too tight is relative, right? I mean, you know, I mean, this could just kind of be not wanting to take a risk because of you may be worried about the Five of Pentacles. Being in this place of lack, losing money, losing resources, losing time. It's interesting with this card also, you know, so we have this figure that's sitting on top of this chest. There's, you know, some coins around. It kind of, you know, he's locked. I mean, we can make an assumption that he's either locked in this room or, I mean, this doesn't even have to be a room that he's locked in because it's kind of like, you know, he could get out actually if he wanted to. So this could actually be a room that, you know, I mean, it's somebody else might be locked in. And, you know, I mean, there's all of that, you know, there's a lock up here. There's a lock here. There's a lock here. Like there's something really kind of being like kept literally under lock and key. However, this cat right here is trying to call attention to this open window. So, you know, and this figure isn't even looking that way. He's like, nope. So, you know, I mean, this could mean that there is a window opening and maybe you have been holding out for this window to open. The one thing about this setup is that I've realized like I have to touch the cards more. Which is fine. I'm just saying that because, I mean, I don't know. You might be like, get your hand out of the damn thing here. Anyway, so, you know, I mean, this could be something, again, that you've been holding out for, that you've been kind of sitting in this energy, you know, really, you know, like calling in the resources that you have, the skills, the talents, the wisdom that you've gained, and really just kind of like waiting, just really kind of waiting for that opportunity, that window of opportunity to open. And you know, this card would say that, you know, I mean, it's either a message of, you know, going for it, getting off of the chest here and just kind of allowing the energy to flow a little bit, kind of releasing your control over your time or your resources, and even maybe releasing a little bit of worry about it. This could be a card about budgeting too. But again, it's kind of it's your decision. Or maybe it will be. And then we have the World card, the Star, and the Ace of Swords. I love how this cat is the same through every card. It might be different there. Because there are a few different cats that are represented throughout. You know, there's this kind of calico looking one, I think. I'm not familiar with the names of cats, so excuse me. But I do think that it's just kind of interesting how, you know, this cat is the same. So, I mean, there could be, you know, a guardian angel, there could be a guide, there could be, you know, an energy that you're working with. This could be your higher self, right? I mean, you know, like it could be a familiar, it could be whatever. You could be seeing signs of the same animal. It doesn't have to be a cat, it can be anything. Like somebody else had a bunch of crows. I can't remember who it was, but that was kind of the thing on theirs. So anyway, I did just kind of want to maybe point that out because, you know, I mean, this cat is the one that's like, hey, look over here, you know? And it is, you know, kind of this consistent energy throughout. So the World card talks about the end of a cycle. It's, you know, the end of the Fool's journey, which is interesting because we almost start at the beginning, right? I mean, like the Fool would be the true beginning, but we do start at the one and we end at the World. So this would say that, you know, I mean, you've seen all that you've needed to see, you've learned the lessons, you've had your transformation, you've, which is also on the table here. But this is, you know, understanding that, you know, the energy of the thing that you have been involved in is kind of changing. And there is this sense of ease in this depiction of the World, because I mean, she's sitting on the beach, you know, like throwing her hat up, the wind's kind of carrying it off. There's this freedom and this contentment even coming out of this cat. Maybe you're going to be spending some time on a beach sometime soon. And that would be a good place to really kind of, you know, like get recentered, like really just kind of even maybe call in this magician energy and just kind of think forward, like, well, you know, like what are the possibilities going forward? But again, you know, I mean, the World would signify the end of an era, the end of a way of being, the end of a business, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like this huge thing. It could literally just be taking away limiting thoughts. You know, like you've worked through all the limiting thoughts that come up. You know, I mean, obviously it can literally be whatever it is to your situation. I just want to say that, you know, it doesn't have to be this huge expression of, you know, the World. Because it all counts. It all absolutely counts. And then we have the Star card here, which again, you know, is very much your energy. And, you know, we can see this figure, you know, kind of working with the energies of the 3D and working with the energies of the 5D. That's the way that I see the Star card. Like, you know, it's that place between the 5 and the 3D. It's that place between where manifestations start coming together. It's where prayer exists, because, you know, we need kind of the energies of both the 3D and the 5D to come together, to materialize into our lives. So, you know, and with this being the central energy, like everything else around it is what you are working with here. There's a lot of hope, there's a lot of faith, there's a lot of trust that goes into the Star card, like, you know, just kind of trusting that things will work out. And then we have the Ace of Swords next to that. Again, with the air energy, right? So I love this row because, you know, here is this kind of, and again, it could be the end of this limiting, whatever this limit is. And this new kind of beginning, this new expression of yourself, or this new, you know, as swords talk about our thoughts, our intellect. I also see it the card of ego because, you know, I mean, that's generally where we hear, where we hear our ego is in our minds. And that's where all those stories tend to hang out, all these limiting stories. And this would say that, you know, there's a new perspective, there's a new inspiration. Very exciting, right? Like maybe even a new, I might have even just said it, a new expression. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did say that. Whatever it is, it's new and it's coming after the World card. It could be as a result of. Either way, like, you know, something ending is causing this new perspective, or this new perspective is causing something to come to an end. And it could all be this limit or this block, or just kind of keeping yourself stagnant or stuck. And then we have the Five of Pentacles down here. And the Five of Pentacles talks about being left out in the cold. This is the concern, right? Like you don't want to kind of release the control, or like, you know, release the comfort. You know, like having a hard time getting out of your comfort box. You know, this is the concern, right? Like, because you don't want to go from that energy to this energy, right? I mean, even just this diagonal here. And vice versa, you know, like kind of having the concern of this maybe keeping you stuck or keeping you from moving forward. However, you know, the Five of Pentacles, the fives in general are transitionary energies. So, you know, this is just something to move through. And it's this message of understanding that this is going to be temporary. And it's not something to kind of pitch a tent in and get stuck and think that, oh my, this is the way that it's always going to be, you know? No, it's not the way that it's always going to be. Clearly, because we have judgment right next to that. So again, you know, like even just the imagery on the card, like, you know, they are moving forward. There is movement in this card. So they're no longer just kind of sitting there. They're starting to move forward, moving through this energy, because the only way out is through it anyway. And then on the other side of it is this transformation with judgment. Even just, you know, the difference between these two energies, right? Like, I mean, feeling, you know, this is a bit kind of humdrum. This is, you know, definitely, you know, there's a butterfly here. So again, transformation. It's sunny, no snow in sight, you know, and she's having a good time. Cat is dancing even. This is, you know, like just kind of almost like a full expression of yourself, like kind of fully accepting of yourself, accepting of your path, accepting of, you know, what you want to do, how you envision your future. And it's, you know, kind of going for it. This is recognizing whatever the lesson is. This is like the actualization of the thing that you needed to see, or the lesson that you needed to learn, or, you know. And then we have the Two of Cups. And, you know, the Two of Cups talks about partnership and union. You know, I mean, of course, it could have something to do with relationships. It could be business. It could be platonic. It could be romantic. This could even just be, you know, this balance within yourself, like giving yourself as much as, like filling your own cup as much as you fill others. Because, you know, we start with the Ace of Cups, right? And I know it's not on the table here, but we start with the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups says that our cups are full, so much so that they're overflowing, which would mean that you have enough for yourself, but you also have enough to share with other people. And cups have to do with our emotions. I think I might have just said that. I don't know. So there's also water signs, right? Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So that's what you do. You know, like it's kind of like you have enough to share with other people. So somebody else comes into your existence and their cup is also full, right? Because they also have their own Ace of Cups. So there's this kind of equal reciprocation. What you're giving, you're also getting in return. So it's not 90-10, 80-20, whatever, it's 50-50. Because that other person, you know, like they have enough to where they're able to share also. So there's, you know, kind of this equality there. And then we have the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands have to do with fire. And I think this might specifically be Leo. But we have this dragon up here. And, you know, the kind of assumption here is that, you know, this figure is kind of figuring out how to capture or tame the dragon. Or even maybe tap into their power and their energy, right? Because I mean, they're spitting fire here. So it could even be about, because I know it's not out here, but when we get to the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Wands is sitting on the dragon. So, you know, it's channeling almost even the energy of the dragon. And, you know, there's this bit of play that comes with the Knight of Wands. You know, the Knight of Wands is going for it, right? They're going for it because wands talk about communication, action, motivation. They're absolutely going for it, but there is still this undertone of play. So it's kind of like this message of, you know, not losing the fun in it. I hate when people say, don't take yourself so seriously, or why are you so serious? I hate that. So I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying, still, like, you know, leave a little space for play. Like, leave a little space for fun. Find a little bit of fun in the thing. And then we'll kind of go down the columns and we'll kind of wrap it up for you. So, Magician, the World, Five of Pentacles. You know, with this, with the World being in the middle between these two, this to me says that there is going to be, or this could even be that you are working on or working through the limiting beliefs. It could be working through your fears, your guilt, your whatever. Because again, right, I mean, like, it doesn't necessarily, the Magician doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, it can, absolutely. But, you know, I mean, it's either something that you're working on for now, like, you know, near future, but it can also be something that you are kind of working through that's a little bit further out. And it is something that you are kind of working on the end of. Like this is maybe even just kind of tidying up like loose ends. And this could be the loose end. And then strength, the star, and judgment. Oh my gosh. You know, I mean, this situation could just be taking a lot of focus, a lot of energy, a lot of, you know, almost like dedication. But also, you know, like I was saying before, like kind of having to put on a face for, you know, like, or a mask. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to say that, you know, like you are kind of presenting as, you know, like, or, you know, putting on a show for people. That's not what I mean, but it's just like, you know, maybe there is something in your life that you do still have to show up for to a certain degree, but there's like all this stuff in the background that you're working through, right? Like, you know, I mean, this tornado could be this 5 of Pentacles that you're working through, which is a lot. So that's where the strength would come in. You know, like, again, you know, there's this resilience, there's this commitment and determination to get this tornado under control. Star card, right? I mean, like you could be really, you know, kind of working with, you could be meditating, you could be really kind of even just working with like your higher self, like even, you know, like again, in meditation, if you could be astral projecting or, right? Like, but it's something about kind of working with these two energies, like trying to kind of bring things together. You could be doing a lot of, what's the, soul, oh my gosh, now of course I can't think. Now of course I can't think of the term, but you know, like when you work with a shaman and soul retrieval, you could even be doing a lot of that. You know, I went through, you know, in my own healing journey in the last few years, you know, it's kind of like if you, if you are a fan of Harry Potter, you know, there's Horcruxes that we leave throughout our lives based on our experiences, right? And it's, you know, kind of trying to retrieve those Horcruxes so that we could feel whole again, right? And that is energy work. So, you know, I mean, you could be working with an energy healer, you could be an energy healer yourself, you know, and really kind of working on this yourself. But again, I mean, you know, there could be somebody else that is helping you through this journey. And again, like this would be the full expression. This would, you know, well, and now I'm getting, you know, like I need to kind of put this disclaimer out here that, you know, some of this stuff takes time, right? You know, even the magician, like I was saying, you know, it's something that you could be working on near future or a little bit further out. So this doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to kind of all come together in May. It's just, you know, the energies that maybe you're working through. So, you know, again, like, you know, understanding that that does take time, because when you do soul retrieval work, you know, you may call the energy back to you, but then it's, you know, kind of about like reintegrating it into yourself, right? So then it's really about working through the story that we attached to that, why it was even a Horcrux to begin with, right? And then, like I said, the Judgment card would be almost kind of the expression, like, you know, when you, have called back parts of yourself and feel a bit more as yourself. And then the Four of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Two of Cups. You know, this could be somebody outside of you. Like there could be somebody who maybe has a concern about how this thing is going to look, or how it may even affect your finances, or how it's going to affect the resources and things that, or your time even. And I'm saying that because we have a male figure here, we have a woman figure here, and then on this card we have the male and woman figure, right? So there could be, and it's the energy of, it doesn't necessarily have to be gender related. Of course, it would depend on your situation. So take it as it fits, if it does. But, you know, there could be somebody that maybe is just kind of holding on. Like this could be your partner, whether that's romantic, whether that's family, whether that's business, right? That is like, oh, I'm scared. I don't know. Like I have all these concerns here, right? And this Ace of Swords is like, oh my God, no, like, oh, let me tell you what the vision is, right? Like, no, like I'm so inspired, and you know, like, let me try to show you this new perspective. And, you know, there's this kind of like empowerment that comes along with the Ace of Swords. And then the Two of Cups would say that there is a common ground that can be reached. Even this cat down here is handing this cat a fish. So if you can see that, so everybody's needs are being met, right? Like everybody, you know, there's this reciprocal kind of energy going on here. And maybe that's what this King of Wands is trying to bring together, is, you know, kind of trying to bring everybody's motivations and, you know, kind of work with this dragon versus, you know, trapping or taming it, right? Like, but that could be kind of what they're working on figuring out. Very cool. And even, you know, like there's kind of this singular person up here, and they're in the end, or at the end of the reading anyway, there are two people. So again, you know, like there's this balancing of energies, like everybody's needs are going to be met here, or at least understood, right? Like, you know, there's this kind of like even just bringing all these concerns to the table. Like, let's just really kind of get it out in the open. Like, what is all of your concerns? What are all of your limiting beliefs? And here are all my concerns and my limiting beliefs, right? Like everybody understands where everybody else is coming from, right? And there's kind of this consensus. There's almost this teamwork aspect to this too, where, you know, you want to recognize this person, they want to recognize you. But I also love that because most of these cards are all singular. There's a child on this card. But the only card that there are more than one adult anyway is the Two of Cups, and that's at the end. So there is kind of this journey about something coming together with another person. And of course it doesn't have to be like one other person, but there is somebody else involved, or other persons involved even. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate it. Okay, bye.